What's up, guys on YouTube? Welcome to a kind of surprise review. The community, we put a poll together while I was working on the last review, which was Daymare, and I asked the community, what game would you like to see me, because we're coming up to the end of the year and we needed a game to play dash possibly review, and Dead Space, the remake that EA did, was one of the games that was flagged up. So I thought, you know what, why not? I did absolutely love the original Dead Space. Let's give it a review, playthrough, and if I want to do a video at the end, I'm doing a video at the end. So I actually don't have any notes written down. So we're going to use the main template that we use. It is all fresh in my mind. We did kind of do a start to finish playthrough with a very small gap in the middle, and we did some very long streams, to be fair. We did a 7-hour stream, then a 6-hour stream, then a 5-hour stream, and now a 3.5, nearly 4-hour stream at the end. And like I said, I am a big fan of the Dead Space series. I do believe, hands down, the very first Dead Space out of the trilogy was the best Dead Space game they've ever made. It had everything it needed. It had a great story. It had a lot of horror, a lot of scare jumps. That was a masterpiece of a game, in my opinion. Dead Space 2 is more 80%. They took a lot of horror away from the game. They wanted to focus a lot on the action, and then Dead Space 3, in my opinion, was just, it went further downhill. The co-op was a nice touch, but they kind of removed all horror aspects from the game, in my opinion. So is Dead Space Remake, is it worth actually playing this game? Is it actually worth ignoring the original and playing this instead? And that's what we're mainly going to talk about. But we'll go through the review template like I would usually do. So the very first thing that we look at on our review template is choice of music used. I can't fault the game in any way, shape or form. The game sounds just like the original one did. It is a absolute masterpiece. The ambient music in the background, the ambient sounds in the background, they are terrifying at times, and they amplify the game and they make the game far better. So I cannot say nothing bad about the music or the soundtracks, the choices of what they've used. It works perfectly, and I'm 100% for it. The effects and the sound effects in the game, they all sound just like they do in the first one. But for me, I have to kind of wave a flag and say that the original, some of the guns in the original game sounded way more beefier and bassier in a way, and the guns in the remake don't sound as scary. The plasma rifle, the wheeled cutter, the very first weapon that you actually earn, that gun, when you first find it and first start using it, has always had like a really meaningful growl to it, and I didn't find that in the remake. The plasma rifle kind of sounded the same. All the other weapons that I utilized itself, the force cannon was awesome in this game itself. The flamethrower was wicked to use as well, and even the beam weapon that I found as well was really cool. But I did find that the main weapon, the main key weapon, which would have been the handgun in respect, or the wielder, just didn't sound the same. It sounded a little bit weaker, just from a sound perspective, but that's just my view on it. The voice acting, flawless, completely and utterly flawless. I can't say anything negative about it whatsoever. There weren't any issues, there weren't any hiccups. We were looking for, obviously, glitches and bugs, as we usually do, and in terms of audio, the audio side of things, we didn't find anything throughout the entire playthrough itself. Graphics, texturing and weather effects. Now, this is a remake. The objective is to make the original better, and did they do that? So if we look at the graphic engine that EA utilized in this game, you can definitely tell that there is a vast improvement from the original game to the remake. The game looks phenomenal. It looks absolutely fantastic from start to finish. The detailing in the enemies, the detailing in the textures, the effects that they use in the rooms, shadows, lighting, the The gore factor in this game is beautifully well done, just again like the original, especially even something as simple as going around stomping on the enemies and watching all the body bits and the blood fly all over the place. This masterpiece, look, this remake visually is a masterpiece. It is so well done. It truly is. We didn't see any issues with missing textures or missing or screen tearing or anything that didn't look like it shouldn't be there. It all worked absolutely fine for me. I don't know if you guys encountered any issues. If you did, put them in the comments down on the YouTube video. I'd like to know if you guys experienced any issues with this game from a visual standpoint or even an audio standpoint. The gameplay and the mechanics, it plays exactly the same as the original. 100% like the original, but they did make a few alterations. And I am going to actually talk about them. They are not really spoilers from the game. Actually, one of them can be, so I need to be very careful. They changed the way that power nodes work in the remake, where in the original they were used to unlock additional rooms which would grant you like high tier loot. They took that feature away completely and substituted it with a access code mechanic where you had to run around and find a way to upgrade or basically authorize Isaac to access these high tier level 1, 2, 3 rooms, and even there's a master one, there's one even higher than that. So you have to go around collecting certain rigs to increase your security status on the ship to give you access to all areas. Do I prefer the power node thing? I like it, but to be fair, this one is a better system for me. I was actively running around the ship trying to find the rest of the rigs so I could have full access to everything in the ship and every locker possible that I could open up. And that was one of the key changes we noticed very early in the game itself. Isaac's model image has been completely redesigned, and I really liked how Isaac looked in the original, and I really don't understand why they went with a complete remodel on him. I found that the original model design, the voicing was just so much better, but that's just me on Isaac. Anyone who hasn't played the original, you wouldn't have to worry. If you're gonna get involved in the Dead Space franchise, you could easily just play the remake, in my opinion, and don't worry about the old school original one. If you do want to see how the old school one played and felt, then be my guest. I personally don't like his new remake model design. I preferred the original, but that's just me. Replayability and game difficulty, yes, there is replayability in this because they have utilized New Game Plus. So once you've completed the game completely, you can activate New Game Plus mode from the main menu, which will then tell you with a prompt that you can carry everything over into your next game, which will allow you to, especially if you've mastered your security access, you can pretty much start from the very beginning of the game and unlock everything from that point onwards, which is probably the best way to get the remaining achievements if you're an achievement hunter, because you can then access all the level 1, 2, 3 security rooms straight off the bat without even having to backtrack. And that's probably something that I will do at some point when I do another playthrough. So there is definitely replayability in this, 100%. We did play it on just story mode because I only wanted to see how much the game improved from the original, and I found myself thoroughly enjoying the entire experience from start to finish. And I feel honestly that if someone was to come up to me and ask, I want to play a Dead Space game, so I want to get involved in this series, would you recommend the original and the remake? I would actually steer someone towards the remake because visually the game, as I said beforehand, is absolutely stunning. It really is, and it still holds up the horror ambience and the thrill. If you don't like horror games, you're not gonna like this. The whole point of this game is to scare the living shit out of you, and it absolutely nails that 100%. It really does. I wasn't as scared as I remember myself being when I played the original, and it's again because I didn't have the experience back then of Dead Space. I didn't know what was about to happen. I didn't, I couldn't remember. I could remember some of the things that happened previously in the other games, so that kind of prepared me for the remake, because they do utilize pretty much the same game layout from start to finish. They took the original game, and like I said, they've just made it massively better visually and audibly, if you don't mind them changing, like I said, Isaac's image and voice. And yeah, I was loving it. I really was. I'm always worried with remakes because I feel like they're gonna take a masterpiece of a game. I like I said, I still feel the original Dead Space to be a masterpiece, and they're just gonna rip it apart, ruin it, and butcher it, and make it a shit game. Plus, it's EA. EA tend to fuck everything up they touch. To be fair, they've ruined so many franchises, and I was really hoping that this wouldn't be another one. That's why I didn't buy the game straight off the bat, because at the time EA had a streak of ruining games that we all loved, and I just didn't want them to do it to this one. So I didn't bother giving them any money and didn't bother buying the game. So I just left it at that. The pricing, I got to play it free. I have Xbox Game Pass, which is the EA membership is also included with that. I know that they were having it on discount, but it wasn't a big one. It really wasn't. It was still around about the £35-40 price point. But looking at it, it's definitely worth £35 to £40. It truly is. I didn't buy the digital. I wouldn't buy the digital deluxe because it's just things that you can unlock a lot of the stuff within the game anyway. You don't have to buy additional skins. It's up to you if you want to throw more money at EA, to be honest, but I wouldn't bother. I would just, if it's not on EA Pass at the time that you're watching this, or if it's come off or whatever, or if you don't even have Game Pass, which you should, by the way, then £35, 100% well worth the price. Well worth the price, and would definitely recommend 100% go grab it. Would I rate this? Again, this isn't like a normal review, because by now I'd have a load of notes that I'd be going through, and I didn't think I was going to turn this into a review, but I at least wanted just to talk about it and give my opinion. EA have done me proud on this game. As worried as I was, like super worried, I feel EA have pulled off a fantastic remake. A really good remake. Even the flying mechanic in this game is a lot better than the original. You can, if you're a hardcore fan of the trilogy and you've played the old first one quite a lot, you will notice the subtle changes that they made in the remake that they did. And maybe you agree with me on most of this, but maybe you disagree, because I know there's a lot of hardcore fans, and some people just don't like their games touched. Once they've played the original, they're like, nope, I'm not going to play a remake, because they probably killed it. But I can safely say that after completing Dead Space, I was left impressed. I was very impressed, though I was shit scared because I thought EA had ruined it. So take this info as you will, Let me know in the comments down below, please. I would love to know your input on whether you feel EA should not have even bothered with this remake, or that they made the right choice, chose a game that was absolutely phenomenal and went to make it better. And I don't know, that this could cause them to revisit Dead Space 2 and Dead Space 3 and remake those games. But that makes me even more worried because Dead Space 2 was, in my opinion, a step down from the first, and Dead Space 3 was a bit of a clusterfuck. So what EA do around all of this is all on them. But honest to God, I want to know your thoughts. I am currently live streaming on Kick as my main platform, as you guys are aware. And I'm also restreaming to Twitch to find some more of our old community members that might want to come over and hang out with our quite large community over on Kick. If you enjoyed this YouTube video, do let me know. Comments all down below, links all down below. I'll put them all in there for you guys. And I hope this video may encourage you to give it a go. Again, don't play it if you don't like horror games, because the whole point of this game is to scare the gamer shitless. Just be warned, that's the whole concept of this game. It has a fantastic storyline, a really good storyline, and it is not difficult to follow. And it's in space, and people tend to not like space games because it scares them a bit. But thank you very much for all the love and support that you guys have given me. I'll get this recording uploaded ASAP so you guys can enjoy it. Stay safe, healthy, and well, and I'll see you all in the next review. Take care. Bye bye, guys.